Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Pastor's Q&A, and we're here today. And if y'all saw the thumbnail, y'all could see the head of Mr. Fugazi, or from the No Fugazee. What you call that?
Why am I so wide?
Because I don't know.
Every time you put this camera on me, I look like this.
I'm sorry.
Except for in the middle camera.
So that's how it looks in this natural. I was trying to fill you up on the whole screen. Don't they call that what? Equality. So today we're gonna be going deep into men not existing and the greatness of, I guess, some people feel that we shouldn't exist. I don't. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hey.
And I find it ironic that some people feel that men should not exist, or that we are brutes in our existence. So before we get into anything, no,
That's crazy.
not just. I just want to know from your perspective. Like really quickly, like just real quick before we like dive into this video. I really kind of want to know, like,
Ask the question.
are we really that brute to where men shouldn't exist, or how would life be for women if we didn't exist?
I think that depending on the woman, first off, men and women are not the same. We're just, our makeup, everything about us is totally different. So, with that being said, women need to stop trying to make men women.
I saw that today.
Like, you're not going to have the same emotions we have because you're a man. You weren't created to have or be emotional like a woman is. Our hormones, we have estrogen. Y'all have testosterone. Two different things which make you all behave in a totally different way than estrogen make us behave. Like, stop forcing our stuff on men. Like,
It was funny. I was watching a lady today, and I was going to save this for next week because I was kind of trying to. I only talked about the Muslim guy because to the mayor race in New York, because to me it's, I see the physical sense, but I really wanted to hit it like on the spiritual sense, how we hit it. But I kind of want to split us up. I kind of want to go back to how we were with the Wake Bacon Coffee Morning Show. On Tuesdays we deal with men, Wednesdays we deal with women. And I was watching a woman say that this morning, and how she was going in saying, hey, you can't put on a man what you think is right, which is not necessarily right. It's more so your opinion. And I was like, ooh, my wife will just. So we'll save it for next week. But what I can tell you is, right now, we're about to get started. Wrong button? Yeah.
yep.
So welcome back to the Pastor's Q&A. Please give us a thumbs up. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend, bring in a woman, bring in a man. Let them know. Let's see how this will go. Let's see who agrees, who disagrees. Let's see who thinks this is right or this is wrong. The No Fugazee podcast. I put the YouTube link at the top in the middle of the description right after their name so you can find it. But I've got this clip off a Facebook short. But what I realize is usually some of us, when we do shorts, we share shorts across multiple platforms at the same time. So, but this one did come from YouTube, from Facebook. It was funny because there is another short after this that I just might go ahead and play anyway after this, because they kind of go together. And before I forget, and let me think about it, I'll just cue the other one. Just to cue it. And I'm going to tell you now, pardon the language of the other. How you doing, Prophet Miller?
Hey.
Welcome. Let me just paste this on in here so we can have it. Hallelujah. I don't need to sign in, do I? I guess so. But I'm not worrying about that. But what I am worried about is the video that we are going to play. So let's go ahead and get that popping.
Egalitarian sense to equalize everything. You get two, you get two, you get two, you get two. The men don't operate like that. Did you do it?
Outside is only dangerous because of men, which is true. Statistically, violence, men. Outside is only dangerous because of men, which is true. Statistically, violence, men.
That isn't true.
So that's
cause
pretty
of
much
things.
how she started the conversation. That statistically it is true, violently.
That violence is men, and I've seen more women violent than men lately. I mean, women be off the chisang. Stop playing with me.
And that what caught my attention, because if I can let me just cut the video over.
Outside is only dangerous because of men, which is true. Statistically, violence, men.
That isn't true. Let's get to the root cause of things. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects and you don't go to the cause.
I don't know what's going on with my mouse. So y'all gonna have to forgive me.
Of it is that without.
So this is what it says. It says feminist obliterated. Is what it says in the beginning of the video. Right? And how she really started this off was like, hey, thank you, Prophet Miller. He said, you looking good and anointed. Guess that's what happened when God wakes you up at 2:45 and then tell you to go back to sleep at 4:50. And then your wife looking at you and kiss you at 9 o'clock and you're like, wait a minute, where you going? It's early in the morning. I'm still thinking it's 4:50. But with that being said, let's go ahead and roll. Let's get into what she said. And I needed to restart it from the beginning, so please forgive me.
Outside is only dangerous because of men, which is true. Statistically, violence, men.
That isn't true. Let's get to the root cause of things. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects and you don't go to the cause. So the root of it is that without a man and you were just here, you would have been eaten by a lion, a tiger, and bear. And guess what? If the lions and tigers and bears didn't get you, you wouldn't have the ability to gather enough calories for you to last. Because a woman can't manipulate the world how a man can. So let me explain to you how a world would operate with only women and only men. When men get together, we know, oh, he's stronger here, he has this skill here, he got this. Let the best person work this skill, and that creates a hierarchy from top down. When a woman get together, what you think about, you're all emotional. So you're tiptoeing all the time and you're looking at the sensitivity levels in this woman and that woman because you know that you are sensitive. So what you do is you start looking at everything in an egalitarian sense to equalize everything. You get two, you get two, you get two, you get two. The men don't operate like that. Did you do enough to get two? If you ain't do enough, you're not getting two. You get zero. Put in that work and then you get that. This is why on the Survival series, men, they was cleaning water fast, building fires fast, because they created that hierarchy. They put the best person in position first. The women, they was trying to do everything equal and by committee, so they couldn't create any order and any structure. The world wouldn't be safer without men. Nature killed more people than any wars and anything you could never imagine. And men,
I agree. What happened?
That was it. That's the end of the video.
I want to hear the whole conversation.
No, that's the end of the video.
Some woman would call me a traitor, but that man spoke truth. All truth. I'm just saying. All truth. No lies. No lies detected.
No lies detected?
No. You may not agree with that. Some woman is not going to agree with that because they can feel like they going to feel like they can do whatever men do. Because I'm a woman and I'm equal.
I'm going to go ahead and just record this and just upload because it's a short.
Okay.
And this is the other one. The only thing my mouse ain't working. But go ahead, keep talking. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Y'all got to be, when we watch this other one, just excuse the length. Wait, why am I can't hear myself. What's going on?
I got the speakers off.
Oh,
so they
okay.
won't hear the recording.
Okay. So just be mindful that this was not recorded prior to us coming live. So excuse the language. It is not our language, but it's on here. Women, can I just say how much it bothers me? You asked me to pause?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say something.
What, can they hear me now?
Say something again.
Hello.
Yeah, so you're being picked up on the desktop audio. So I'm just going to have to try to play it somehow from Facebook.
Oh,
So don't worry about it.
okay.
Because we're going to be in the audio if I record it. That's why I was looking at it.
Okay. So what do you want me to do?
Keep talking, saying what you had to say.
You threw me off. I don't know what I was about to say.
I'm about to put the replay. So
I have no idea
can start
where
playing
I
replay.
was going. Oh, I do know. It so bothers me that we feel like we have to be in competition with the opposite gender. There is no competition because in actuality, it's apples and oranges. I'm an apple, he an orange. We're not to be compared with one another because he was created for one thing, I was created for another. The word says he was created for the glory of God and I was created for his glory. The glory of him. Which means that our roles are different. Which means that we couldn't be made the exact same way. Which means that he can do things that I can't do. I can do things that he can't do. My mind does not work the same way his works. His does not work the same way mine works. I am so confused as to why we have a problem with letting people just be who they are. I'm confused.
But I was looking at how he structured it, how we think differently.
Hey, Sugar Plum.
How we go in and we look at things, how we look at things, how we view things, from the way that we view it. how we'll walk into a room and be like, okay, so Stevie Steve is strong. Prophet Miller is quick. And we will assign tasks based upon the strengths that we have coming to know about
the other person.
The other video I wanted to show was talking about how you can put 5 men in a room. He said you can take 5 men, 5 different walks of life, 5 different religions, 5 different age groups. You can stick them in a room, and the first thing that men do is find a common ground. That's the first thing we do. Stevie Steve, you like the Mets or the Yankees? You know, you're married, you got kids. We don't even go into what's your religion, what's your education, what you do. We find common ground. Then he goes on to say that women, on the other hand, you can take 5 women, 5 different walks of life, 5 age groups, 5 religions, 5 backgrounds, stick them in a room, and they're gonna scope out who's the strongest, who's the weakest. Then they're gonna group up. Then it's gonna be like, you see her shoes? You see her hair?
I don't know, because I ain't never did that. I'm sorry. And the women that I hang with will do that. So I don't know that side of women.
Got you. Let me see if this video play.
So I can't speak on that because I ain't never did that. I ain't never been with a group of women who do that. If anything, the group of women that I am and have always been around, similarly, yes, we will scope out the room, see whom is weak, but not in the sense of weakness. When I say we scope out whom's weak, who needs help? Who needs me? Versus me being catty. And I think that has more to do with how you're raised. But that sense, I know nothing about. I've never been around that part.
Well, I'm gonna let him explain it. Let's see if it'll work.
Okay.
Come on. Oh my God. I be want to throw this mouse. I swear to you, I be wanting to just.
Where's the other one?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? It was just in here.
I be wanting to just.
You changed it the other day. Did you change it back?
Because that mouse go to my laptop.
It don't matter. It work. Do I need to go get the other one?
I'm trying to figure out why it's playing there, but
Well,
not.
we don't have time. There we go.
To divide and conquer, and you guys will kill and destroy everything and anything that's good.
It's not
No
playing
offense,
though.
but these are fucking facts. I'm Timmy Bowers back, and I'm fucking back.
So let me put the mic up here.
No offense, but these are fucking facts. You guys will kill and destroy everything
Jackson.
and anything that's good.
I want to talk about men.
We're awesome.
Why are you off?
It's simple. If you put 5 men
Where's the other one?
in a room of every different religion, ethnicity, and age,
So it's not
first
playing
thing
the audio.
that most men would do
That's crazy.
is try to find common ground. What's your favorite food? What sports team do you watch?
Did you change it
So,
back?
I did.
Put 5 women,
You put 5 women in a room of all ethnicities, all religions, all ages.
do
Can y'all hear?
who the weakest one is and the strongest one is, and they pair up. And they go, do you believe her hair? Do you believe that fucking purse she's wearing? Look at those heels.
Now.
That's surgery. We look for common ground. Women look to divide.
Now,
Okay, so I don't think they can still hear because
it's cool. So he
Okay.
was saying how women look to divide and conquer, and men look for common ground. I've seen that with women, where they'll go in and they'll click, and everybody would just separate, and then they would divide and they would conquer, or not even necessarily conquer, but they would divide the room. Now, they would,
We need to be able to see.
These raggedy mouse.
Okay.
He said, "Stand by, please." What it do, Pastor Rob?
Robert?
So it's more so of I've seen that in women, and you're kind of like a different breed. Like, how can I say this in a nice way? To where you and women like you don't get offended. God closed down y'all factory a long time ago. Y'all was just still producing, but it was shut down a long time ago.
What factory?
That he was making y'all in. The factory that God was making y'all in, he was just still trying to get rid of the merchandise. You ever had a store that do a closeout and they don't close the door until they sell every piece of merchandise? Yeah, so some women were made over here, and let me tell you what he did. When he shut the factory down, he was like, okay, you're going to be born in 80, you'll be born in 89, I'm going to put you out in 2000, I'm going to put you out in 2020, I'm going to put you out in 2010. So he made sure that he scattered y'all in between the time that he had the return. So it could still be common sense in the earth. So he shut that factory down. He did the same thing with men. You know, me, Stevie Steve, you know, Pastor Rob, you know, Prophet Miller. We were born in one particular factory. He shut it down. And when he shut it down, he still said, you're going to be born in 76, you're going to be born in 64, you're going to be born in 82, you're going to be born in 80. So he knew that he could still have this product because he didn't want all of us born at the same time. Because he knew that we was going to die eventually.
I'm done.
So then that means that would have taken certain things out of the earth before time. And he still needs certain people here. So this other factor,
That is hilarious.
it got tainted, right? And one of the screws got loose. One of the belts was acting up.
They was missing a few things.
So they was just coming out, and he was trying to correct them. And they was like, no, we got it. So he was like,
Okay.
cool. Gotcha.
Gotcha, boy.
So you have women like that.
Yeah, and I know that they exist, but I can't say, like, he's like, facts, this is what women do. Yeah, but that's not majority of the women. The problem is that minority is always louder than majority.
That is true.
Minorities have to be the ones to make all the noise because they need the attention brought to themselves. And because the minority is the louder one, they create a representation for those that they do not represent.
It's funny you say that because they were saying how Jaguar lost 97% of his revenue and profit in the last 2 years. And they said that Jaguar should have learned from Bud Light, who not only lost $1.8 billion in revenue, they lost $24 billion as a corporation. When they tried to low-level chick act like
That be the ratchet ones.
when they tried to gear to that 0.00001%.
That's it right
So
there.
Jaguar had a commercial that came out, and it was of these vibrant colors, and it looked like men were wearing cheerleading. You remember the little things that cheerleaders used to wear on their legs, the little ruffles, and the dance team little ruffles, and they come out like that. You had girls, you had men, and it was crazy because they had all these wild colors, and men came out, and women, and they was posing, and then at the end they didn't show you no car.
Are you serious?
Listen, Jaguar,
The whole
entire
car commercial.
the whole car commercial.
It didn't advertise a car. No. Let's keep moving.
Right. So the
That's crazy.
and they had changed their logo. They changed the Jaguar sign,
But
and
you
everything.
do know that they got bought out by Ford.
But they got bought out by Ford like 50 years ago.
No, it was not that long.
Okay, so it was 22 years ago. Ford
No,
bought them
it
out.
was not 22.
And then
it was
Range
only
Rover,
like 5 years
and then
ago.
Range Rover came back and repurchased because Ford only bought out the plant that was in Germany, just like Ford bought out the Mercedes-Benz plant in Germany. But anyway, so what
It was her dream car.
what they were saying was they was catering to that minority.
That minority, because that minority, they be making the most noise, and they
Now-
be trying to.
The low level chick act like that. That outshines. So it's funny that the low level people, the minority people, outshine the majority. So for example, I swore up and down that single parenting was only in the black community because they made single parenting black women the poster child until I hit Europe. And then I realized that women all over the world, no matter what country I went into, no matter what their background was, the Asian women, the Filipino women, the white women, the black women, the African women, the American women.
It's
the
a
South,
problem all
it's
over the world.
all over the world, single parenting is a thing. Whether people die, whether they just divorce,
never were married.
right. So in this sense, when I look at this young lady who says that men are dangerous, statistically, let me make sure I quote her correctly. Oh, black people.
Listen, it's that old saying that
The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
yes, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Let me play this little lady.
Uh-oh. We having all kind of... Can I go get the other mouse? I'm just saying.
Suicide is only dangerous because of men, which is true. Statistically, violence, men.
But that isn't true. Let's get to the root cause of things.
So, we make the world a dangerous. We're extra violent. Now, what are some of the things that men go to war over?
Their family,
What else?
their money.
What else?
I don't know what.
Who is the number one person in most men's ears?
Their wives. or their mamas. Either their wives or their mamas.
Which is a
Woman. Oh, okay.
So even if we're the most violent, or what she say?
Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects and you don't go to the cause. So the root
She
of it is
said that we were the most violent, and
Outside is only dangerous because of men, which is true. Statistically,
Outside
violence,
is
men.
only
that isn't true.
dangerous
Let's get to the root
because
cause of
men.
things.
outside is only dangerous because of men.
Violence. Statistically, men. Those were her words.
Outside is violent. The Me Too movement and the Believe Women movement and the Time's Up movement is generated by the toxic minorchy. I agree. Matriarchy. And I agree. And this is my thing with her. It's hard to go outside because of men. So let's take all the men off the table. Let's say the rapture come and Jesus be like, I thought about the women, but I came to get the men first. Because remember, some people say he gonna come back twice. So let's say the first time he just rapture up the men, right? And and he leaves the women here. How would y'all survive?
Oh, don't get it twisted. We will figure it out. Don't. Okay, so what we not gonna do is make it like we won't figure it out.
I didn't say
'Cause
you
we
wouldn't.
will figure
I
it
am
out.
just asking the question.
We
See?
would survive.
And this is what this is the part that a lot of the other people were saying when it came to women. That you see how you just went in that pitch and tone. See, you jump right into the emotion. then you let
I
the-
didn't jump into my emotion.
Hold on, listen. I'm not asking from a sarcastic place.
I know.
I'm asking from a realistic place.
I know.
How would y'all survive? I hope to come back in an hour. I can't live a life with all women. You saying you hoping come back in an hour? All right, Jesus. It's been an hour and 2 minutes. Said I can't live a life with all women. Some women just aren't worth staying with. So again, but let's just say, I'm not saying that y'all wouldn't figure it out.
But
I'm asking how.
So this is what you're missing. You can't say how. And the reason we can't say how is because we don't know. Some women were born to men who taught them how to survive outside. But just because you're not here doesn't mean we're not going to figure it out and survive. There are women doing it every day. It's not a matter of we have to have you to survive. That's not a thing. We do need you because you all are made totally different than we are. We need each other. So when you say how, if all the men are just disappeared off the earth, how would y'all survive? The way that comes off is we wouldn't survive because we just need you to survive. That's not, and that's why I made the statement.
Well, that's why I said I
made.
wasn't trying to be sarcastic. I wasn't trying to be
but
rude.
again, the way that even how, there's no way you can fix that up.
Okay. At least the vet. Who? Oh, at the vet with the green cat.
Domestic
Gotcha.
violence has increased as misogyny, has increased. Misogyny, hatred of men, dishonor, and disrespect. And I totally agree with you, Katia. She is absolutely correct.
And I can see that. And my only thing is, like, with this lady's comment is we made the world a worse place, or it's unsafe for her to go outside because of men. The reason why I find her statement to be so asinine is because she's sitting in a room with two of them.
And they weren't violent to her. Katia says the gender will not survive because women can't impregnate themselves. And she's absolutely correct.
And if we didn't have women, if God came first and was like, hey, I love you men, but I'm going to take the women first, based on bad doctrine that he's going to come back twice, we wouldn't survive either, because we couldn't reprocreate and make new life. Now, outside of procreation, I'm more so looking at if the danger is gone, based on her theory, would there be any other outside danger even though we're gone?
Absolutely. She just made a point. And I said this earlier. There are women that are filling up the prisons now because of murder. Women have become, and I'm not even going to say women. There is a spirit of murder, anger, and rage that is moving throughout the world right now. And because of these spirits, they don't care whether you are male or female, whether you are, what them people call transgender. They don't care. All they want is a body that they can control.
That's it.
So to say that all violence comes from men, I've seen what Katia is saying. I've seen the switch. I see more violent women now than I've seen ever.
But that goes back to my statement. Slide over just a little bit this way, so we can say you won't be blurry in your shows. No, like slide your chair close. Come closer to me. You know you want to be closer to me, baby.
Man, if you don't get your life together, come on,
I just
y'all.
want you to be closer.
Y'all see what I got to deal with.
So, but at the same time, women have become, but that's what I was saying earlier. The factory shut down, and I don't know where this new factory of women came from. 99% of those who attacked me from teenagehood were girls and women, and it's usually women, and that kind of goes to the premise that the video that we couldn't see was trying to say, that women tend to attack each other more than men do. Like, even when it comes to disagreements, right? Unless you had a man to truly check you, if you never had a man to truly check you, then it's easy for young men, as we would call them, to have women emotions. And when we say that as men, and this is no disrespect to women, it's more so of, because you move out of your emotion, you do stupid things. And you either end up dead. See, Prophet Miller said, don't be scared to get closer. Get a little closer with Ultra Extra Dry. So, now let's tell him my age. So that is a real big issue, because now women are y'all are on social media more, doing stuff that I would expect to see young stupid boys do.
Well, that's what she said. Watch the news. Chicks popping, getting at the fast food joints. And I don't be scrolling, but got a notification and I was looking at one of my babies. And as soon as that video was done, another video popped up and it said, "What would you do?" And it said it was a restaurant or some kind of public something. And these two ladies had these kids and their kids was out of control. And the person at the facility was like, "Hey, can y'all get your kids and control them?" Both of the mamas, I'm talking about, started cutting a fool.
I can believe it.
I'm talking about they started acting worse than the children. I'm like, well, then why the children acting the way they acting?
Because that's what they get. And that's the point that I'm making is, and this is no disrespect to women, but God put together a hierarchy for a specific reason. And until men take their rightful place in this hierarchy where we belong, our children will begin to act out. They will continue to. They will continue to pull from more from the feminine, I don't want to say the word energy, but they will continue to pull more from that.
That's not...
No, just hear me out. Mm-hmm. They will pull more from that, and they don't have a balance. So, for example, statistics have showed that young men, regardless of race, who have been brought up around single mothers with no men structure, no male nowhere, not an uncle, not a coach, nothing, tend to have worse emotional behavior than one who at least has a male figure that can come in, I don't mean a dad, I mean like an outside male figure, a coach or something to that perspective. Fathers are here to guide and to protect and to be able to teach young men how to be emotionally and hold your emotions. Not necessarily, now don't get me wrong, I think that sometimes in life we have taught young men wrong. Like, don't cry, you're not supposed to have emotions. And then he goes out and become a serial killer because he never learned how to tap into his emotions. He never learned how to have a safe space. So because now with how the narrative is you want a man who is sensitive, but he can't be too emotional. So men are in a place where they're up and down, they're in and out. And until we can get back to that hierarchy that was established by Christ, like, hey, God is the head of Christ, Christ is the head of man, man is the head of woman. Once we begin to teach young men that they were made in the image and you were created for the glory of God and women were created for the glory of man, is when we get back there, until we get back there, our little girls will be out of control. Because think about it, back in the day, there used to be a saying, I'm going to tell your daddy. And a child would straighten up just as quick. And there used to be another saying, I'm going to tell your mama. And they would straighten up just as quick. I think now the problem is there's no more reverence for parents. Whether you mommy or daddy, single parent or married. We have lost parental
That's because they too busy trying to be the children's friend than to be the parent. I I can have conversations with my children, but they also know that's my mama. She will choke me out.
So I was watching.
And whoever don't like me saying it, you can suck a big toe, because I will choke my children out and they know it. Pastor and all.
So hate to keep referencing you, Pat, but I was watching Patrick, and he said with parenting comes levels.
It does.
It's the parent, then you're loved, you're hated, you're feared, or you're respected. We become friends. He said when you start off, I am not as hard as a parent because we're getting to know each other. You can't talk. You can't do anything. So I'm showing you my nurturing side, whether mother or father. I'm showing you my loving side. I'm catering to your every wake and every need. But then when you become a certain age, now I become the parent. Now I become the parent. And the reason why I become the parent is because now I have to breed structure into you. I have to let you know I'm nothing to play with. I have to set boundaries with you, because in the first 2 to 3, 4 years of your life, you thought we was friends. But I have to let you know that we not friends.
Because even in the first
I ain't gonna even give you the first 3 to 4. I let my
because we start popping hands and selling no at months.
That's why I said I never had terrible 2s and Tetris 3s, because I beat mine at 1 across the board, all 3 of them, and didn't have no problem. Only whooped all my kids 1 time, and that was it. But at the same time, I understand parents who don't like to discipline their kids. So even with that, when we get to a certain level, now is I am a parent of boundaries, rules, regulations, and that lasts for years. And even as a parent of bound rules and regulations, I'll give you a open door policy where you can come and express, and you can talk, and we can have conversations. But that comes because we have built a relationship. I think the greatest issue, even when it comes to the body of Christ, the reason why some of us are out of whack with God is because we don't really have a relationship. We know him, but we don't have a relationship. Absolutely. It's the same thing with children and parents. Parents don't have a relationship with their kids. They're just a parent. Children don't have relationships with their parents. They're just children. And it bridges. And this is where the gap is, and this is where the danger zone lies. Because there's no bonding. There's no relationship. There is, I know you, Dad, and I come to you when I need something. This triggers out into adulthood. This triggers out when it comes to Christ. I know you're daddy. I know you're the blessing. However, I need something. Just like he told her, you'll get eaten by the lions, tigers, and bears. And we're allowing our children to be eaten by lions, tigers, and bears because there is no relationship. And because we don't build relationships, when you get older, when now it's supposed to be, yeah, you're my dad, but when it's time for us to become friends, because think about it, even with God,
there comes a point where
y'all become friends
because you built that relationship.
Because you built that. You started off in sonship, then you move to discipleship, then you move into
discipleship,
then you move
then friends.
You become a disciple, then you move into sonship, then you move in a place of trust and parenting and growth and understanding. And then we get into where we can be friends. But like you said, parents now want to be your friend first.
But why I ain't taught you that? Cause, and for some reason, what I've seen is that the parents feel like once they kids hit their teen years, now I don't have to be your parent no more. Because you took my younger years, you took them years from me. So now I get to start living like you, because we can do this together. And now we partying together, we smoking together, we drinking together, we doing all of this, but you never set boundaries. You never set the discipline, the structure. And the problem is because they never had the discipline and the structure.
And I was going to say what you said first in your statement.
I said that they felt the parents wait till the kids get to about the teenage years. And that's when now we get to be friends.
Why?
Now.
But you made the wise statement.
You took my years before that.
So that's where I wanted to go. Number one. So let me be honest to all the parents who feel that your children took your teenage years from you. You took your teenage years from you.
Absolutely.
When you was hard-headed and then listened to your mama and you spread your legs open and you had this baby with this little retard. Or when you decided to go out here with the fast girl who your mama told you to leave alone and you didn't listen and you became the little retard because you done knocked her up. So now you got to take on the responsibility of being a daddy at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old.
20, 21, 22, because we still aren't where we need to be.
So my thing is, the person who took away your childhood was not the child, because the child didn't ask to come.
That part.
You took away your childhood because you were out here doing what it is that you wanted to do, as opposed to listening to your parents, because y'all thought that we were boo-boo the fool and we didn't know no better and that we didn't know nothing. And you didn't want to listen to your parents because you thought we were lame. Or you was listening to some crazy person who told you that we were lame because they parents let them do whatever they wanted to do because they did not want to be a parent.
And let me say this. Let me say this. My kids are at the age where I've instilled everything that they need inside of them. Now, we're still needed for guidance because we will always be needed for guidance. But until you have done your part and they can show you that, hey, I was paying attention. Hey, I have earned your trust. I have earned your trust. Then that whole you can do what you want to do, it's out the door.
So,
how we get here? Katia?
Yes. I always feel like I'm going to butcher her name. So Katia said, I did a paper in school on women in prison and the rising rate of black women in prison. This is why they say orange is the new black.
Yep.
My big sister was the director of the Women's Prison Association at one of our states. I have taken notes from her as well. Stevie Steve said, "This is the truth. I'm not your friend. I am your freaking father." She said, "Word is bond, Stevie Steve." No, the word, Stevie Steve said, the word is respect. And as your parent, you must respect me. So, Stevie Steve, I don't believe that you must respect me. I kind of believe in the word that you will respect me. Because to me, must is almost like I'm giving you an option. Will is not an option. You will respect me. Mm-hmm. Call me Cat. Y'all family now. Okay. Because I be like, I do not want to. I know I butcher names.
Yes,
I butcher names while I'm
real
sitting there
bad.
while I'm reading the name. And it took me 8 years to get Stevie Steve right. So, but to me, must is like almost an option. You will respect me.
But going back to the original conversation, men need respect. That's how God created them. Women need love. That's how God created us. So why are we trying to compete when they are not the same?
Because we ain't built on love. We don't care if you love us. So when you have kids who used to run up, I used to see television shows where kids run upstairs and be like, they slam the door and be like, "I hate you."
That's all right.
Oh, okay.
I really don't care.
But what you gonna stop doing is
Disrespecting me.
you ain't gonna slam no doors
Right.
and be screaming in my house. Let's start there. That's number one. Because by the time I put my foot,
All right, Pastor.
you'll be a Nike manufacturer in the toilet for about a week.
I'm just saying.
And I think this is the part where we have become lackadaisy as parents. We feel that we don't have to discipline our kids when the Bible makes it very clear that you gonna have to. Why? Because your children are born in the same sin nature that you are. You do not have to teach a child to sin. You
Nope.
don't have to teach a child to lie. You don't
Nope.
have to teach a child to steal.
Nope.
You don't have to teach a child to catch a tantrum.
Nope.
You don't know how to teach a child to be selfish.
Nope.
You don't have to teach a child how to sin. It is born into sin nature. Bless you.
Excuse me. Sorry, y'all.
Stevie Steve said, "There is no option. You must respect me, period. As your father, in return, I will respect you. This is what's missing in life." Most definitely.
Absolute. And you know, these kids nowadays, they don't respect nobody. They don't have fear, nothing. There is
But there's a reason for that.
nothing.
There's a reason for that. It's a reason they don't fear nobody. There's a reason. Let me help you out.
Yeah.
Because y'all scared to punch them in the face.
No, that's not why.
You ask.
That's not why, because a lot of kids, they are being beat.
But I'm gonna be honest. No, just all jokes aside. Because we don't pour love into
That's
these kids.
it right there.
You don't spend no time with him. He don't know you.
They are not getting the attention that they
you don't
are
give them-
so longing for.
We give them this. You give them a tablet. You stick them in BET, MTV, YouTube, Netflix is their babysitter. They see you doing
Everything else,
under the sun.
because everything else is more important than them. That's another part of the problem.
And again, the hierarchy is gone. There is no more God, Christ, man, woman, children. There is no more hierarchy in the house. It's no God, no Christ. It's probably 98.7% of the time there's no man. It's just mama, and the children. So the mother is left uncovered. The kids are left uncovered because the covering's supposed to come from the hierarchy. And the reason why is because the same thing that he was discussing about when men come together, men can say, okay, again, Stevie Steve is good with an axe. Prophet Miller is quick on his feet. Pastor Robert is better, starting the fire. So everybody got their own task. Dads do the same when they're raising kids. They can see, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're doing this. Okay, so you're good at baseball, so we're going to invest in your baseball. You're good at the violin. As much as we would like for you to play baseball too, or football or basketball, you have shown interest in this violin. This is where you be. So now dads can come in and step in and say, boom, there you go. Then we can raise up kids and protect and have that covering that is needed in the family. And because there is no covering, the enemy has come in and made women, like this young lady, feel that she can't go outside because men have made it dangerous. Hey, Pastor Carlton. Pastor Carlton said genders compete as a result of the curse of sin. Genesis 3. Women try to control men, and men, what did he say? Just use the woman. Both are opposite of respect and love. Christians ignore that revelation. Most definitely. Because think about it.
And he's talking about the curse that came after they fell.
Right.
It said, woman, you will always try to usurp or put your power or yourself above your husband. You will always have a desire.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. But then you also have women who they feel that way because now society teaches it that way. We have become we can take our bras off. We can walk the street. We are just as equal as men. We are just as important as men, and we're not saying that you're not as important as men. God created you to assist men and to be there because God has created him with a purpose. And for a woman to feel that she can't go outside and men is the problem. And even like he said, how can you manipulate? And I don't think that he meant that in a vicious or a what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with a V. Right. He didn't mean it in a way of manipulating people just to manipulate them, if that makes sense. So, but to be able to function, the hierarchy always wins. Imagine if we can just do an experiment here in the state of Georgia. And this is not to separate men and women. I want to be able to do an experiment where you can divide up two communities, or you can create two small cities. And on one side of the city, you have those who follow the hierarchy. And not necessarily No Fugazee's hierarchy, because his hierarchy is, men at the top of the chain. But my hierarchy is God at the top of the chain. So you have one who follows God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man. Man is the head of woman. Hierarchy. This is how they live. This is how they build their community. I would even push the envelope to have the community. Hey, Miss Blackmore. I would even push the envelope to say that the community that's going to follow their hierarchy, their constitution is built on the word. Mm-hmm. Their city ordinance is built on the word. Mm-hmm. Everything has to run on the word. There is a day of rest. So everything that y'all going to do, y'all got to do in 6 days. And you have to do it within the 12 hours in the 6 days. And then there's stipulations. There has to be no phones at the dinner table. Dinner is to be at a certain time. No phones at the dinner table. Everybody's at the dinner table. Television shuts down at a certain time. There's reading. So this is what this community has to bring. And then we have just another one to just function like any other regular city, however you want. If you want LGBTQ, you can have it. If you want pride parades, you can.
Really, what you're saying is let's take this section out and put them here.
No,
And
let's see what happens. Let's
That's what you're saying.
right. Let's separate the two and let's see which one.
Not because we already got the first one, so we just gonna pull this out and separate you.
And let's see which one works. Let's see which. Let's see the difference. Let's see how the crop is different. Because you get the farm and the bad side just as well. We get the farm and the good side. You get the stores. You get the everything. And then we get to see the difference of one who is structured, as he was saying. Stevie Steve said the Amish versus.
Right. Absolutely.
Because the Amish
Do exactly that.
they're the deepest Christians I know. Quakers,
But they do exactly that.
but they do that.
Right.
But I don't even mean take away modern technology. I mean still be able to keep your televisions and all that other good stuff on both sides. All I'm saying is show the hierarchy structure of God first, family. Then, as the greatest coach in college history would say, his rule was God first, family second, and then everything else. And he said, if you live your life that way, you will always be a champion.
My mic? Oh.
So,
Hello. Okay, there we go.
So if we can do that to see, it would be great to be able to go buy a mini city.
But you don't need to. All you got to do is look at he just said it. It's the Amish.
Right, but the Amish, the question becomes, nobody's paying attention to the Amish. Because,
Then that just means we need to pay attention to how they've come out.
right, but what I'm saying is the Amish are living a specific way, but I still...
The same way you just described.
Right, but what I'm saying is let's take the Amish and update them. Because the Amish don't do television. I'm not saying that we don't have television, we don't have phones. What I'm saying is when we come into certain things. So for example, we eat dinner, everybody's phone is upstairs. There is no phones at the dinner table because we talk, we speak, we get to, again, go back to building that relationship. Because when I listen to this lady and I hear her, she has had a very bad experience with men.
And I was going to point that out because that just sounds like she's not had healthy relationships in her life. But Yeah, just she hasn't had healthy relationships in her life with men. And because she's not had healthy relationships in her life with men, then that has framed
And that was
her perspective of men.
See, Pastor Carlton, I didn't want to go that deep. That's why I was like, not the Amish. But since you went there, he said there's usually a ton of incest and sexual perversion going on behind the scenes of those Amish Quakers cultures. And that's why I didn't really want to.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to go that far into there.
Got you.
So that's why I just kept saying, not the Amish.
Got you.
Okay, update them and take
it away.
Then take it away. No. I'm not saying take it away. What I mean is true biblical believers will build a city. So, for example, let's say that there is a town in Georgia that is falling apart. Let's say if it's a little bitty town, and this town only has 150, 200 people. Or it can be anywhere in rural America. Let's take 1,000 people with financial investment, and we are going in, and we're coming with the word, we're coming with hierarchy living, we're coming with biblical living, we're coming living how it was created for the garden. Mm-hmm. And rebuild this city. And to keep God as the center of this city. That he would be the center focus of family. He would be the center focus of work. He will be center focus on the rules and regulations that we have.
He would just be the center.
He will be the center of everything. And then we do things a certain way that other people don't. Like,
so the only thing is, in order for the children to stay at a place, and even some adults' mindsets, you're not going to be able to have phones and technology and all of that.
No, you can still have phones and technology.
I hear what you're saying.
And let me tell you why. Because
to me,
the reason why we can still have phones and technology is because it depends on what's in your algorithm. So your algorithm shows you or suggests things based upon what you do the most. If you watch a lot of sports, like I love basketball. I love watching basketball. Baseball was my sport. That was the sport I played.
Don't work that way. I get the algorithm thing. I totally get the algorithm thing. That's cool. That's great. But you're still opening the door for a whole lot of other stuff. And because the internet is so vast, that's another part of the problem that we have already.
So, well, I can agree to a certain degree, but like I said, my algorithm only opens up to what I watch consistently.
You're not a young person anymore.
Understand that. But but this is where I'm going. When you are having these conversations, don't get me wrong. We can birth 10 children. There's a great chance that one is just gonna get away.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So
you can birth 2 children.
There's a great chance one is going to get away. But what I'm saying is, yes, but as you stated earlier, what are we putting in them?
And
my thing is, depending on how old you are, will probably determine the type of phone you get. Because you might not need an iPhone at 8. But you can take this little bitty flip phone right here. It is, like I said, you press 1 and call daddy. Press 2 and call mommy. Press 3 and call grandma. for call Pastor Carlton.
Okay, so you're not specifically giving them access to the internet.
No, but you
Okay.
but you did make a great point one day. I asked, this is years ago, I asked, are phones really necessary? And you said the way the world is moving, you believe phones are necessary.
Absolutely.
And I was like, well, if the kid is at school, even if he has a phone, the school is going to call you, not from a cell phone, but from the office phone. But then also to think about how the world moves.
Absolutely.
Because let me tell you what's going to happen to a city like this. The enemy was going to hate a city like this.
And that is my point right there.
So the enemy. So what he's talking about, the guy from the No Fugazee Podcast, the enemy will attack that because the enemy knows when men get together how we think. He knows when women get together how they think. So he easily knows how to slide in and what to do. Even when you put real men together and even when you put real women together. To build a city like that, I'm not saying take away all phones because I think they're necessary.
No, I'm not saying that either.
But do an 8-year-old need
No,
a $2,000 device?
No, that's not what I was talking about. When you were saying still give them technology.
Oh, yeah. Because technology, and the reason I say still give technology is because we went from an industrial to a technological to a technology. Now we're in an information, what they call the information age. But we are now about to go into what I consider a hyper technology information age.
I can agree.
And if no one knows how to properly operate what's coming, we would be left behind.
I agree.
You won't be able to get a job on the skills that you have. Yes, you are a secretary. That's great. We are looking for a secretary, but we'll need a secretary who can do that.
And the skills are going to be required. And I'm just going to say this, and this is just for me also. Learn AI, because your job is going to be taken over by AI, some form, fashion, way. Learn it.
Well,
make your skills useful with it.
I agree. I don't think AI is going to completely take over your job. This is how I see it. My wife, who knows how to use AI, is going to take your job.
But that's what I mean.
No, because a lot of people think that the computer is just gonna. No.
For some people, it is gonna come in and do just that. It's gonna take their job.
So,
but you have to have, and that's why I'm saying learn AI.
Because even when I remember when Walmart started putting in the self checkouts, big up to. What you call it? It's a Georgia company. Anyway, so I was talking to one of the cashiers. She was a young girl. Stevie Steve said technology is needed to be taught in school. I believe it does. It was a young girl, and I was like, "How do you feel about them taking?" Well, it don't matter. It's a little bitty Walmart. I said, but Walmart is bigger than what you think. I said, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I said, it would be smart, or as Miss Mitchell would say, it will behoove you.
That part.
It will behoove you, young lady, to learn how these new machines work, run, operate.
Absolutely.
And so the young man who was bagging my groceries, he was like, so what would you say for me? I said, I would learn how to build them, fix them, because even though I can come in here and check myself out, they're going to break. They're man-made.
Yep.
Everything that's man-made is going to break.
Yep.
I was like, so because it's man-made, it's going to break. So learn how to fix it. Learn how it operates. Learn how it moves. Learn its inside. I said, even as just a regular employee, learn how your company works, run, operate, how it moves. This has saved me to outlast people who is in a company 10, 15 years when it was time to get laid off. And usually, you know how it goes, last hire, first fire. And there were people who got hired after me who was first on the chopping block. But there were people who came before me who was trying to figure out, and it was young. And then it was the young people that really got me. Because I was like, because they was like, oh, you do too much. The same thing they tell you about getting to know God. It don't take all of that. Let me tell you, it takes all of that.
It takes all of that plus some.
Plus some. So, and they be like, oh, well, why are you always talking to him? He don't like black people. He like me.
I'm just saying.
You know, he's this way, he's that. That's great. But that's the man who write the checks in the building.
So that's who I need to be friends with.
I understand my position. Then I go and say, so how does my position help the company grow? How can I be a benefit? I said, this is the problem. We want something. It's the same thing with God. We want from God, but we never ask God, how can we be a benefit to the kingdom? We preached this at the beginning of the year. Stop asking God what he can do for you and start asking God, what can you do?
I do?
What can you do for the kingdom?
You.
Because then you wouldn't be afraid to go outside. Then it wouldn't be so much of men and women clashing. Because we will understand our role and our position.
Come on.
We will understand where
You
we
would understand
will
where you
understand where we fit in this hierarchy.
Come on.
Because hierarchy always wins. God will never lose. As my prophet said yesterday, we was on the phone. He said God is the undisputed
Heavyweight
champion
Come on,
of the
champ.
universe. Undisputed. Ain't never been no tie. Ain't even been close. It's been he knocked out people faster than Mike Tyson can get in the ring. And then he gave a blow so crucial. He said, it is finished. So I can walk in the it is finished.
Come on.
I'm talking about hit you so hard. So here we are. Our women are afraid. Because there was a statistic years ago that said that 89% of women, not in the United States, not in Georgia, not in New York, not California, but 89% of the women in the entire world on 7 different continents have been sexually abused, raped, molested, some type of sexual assault, something. When I heard that, it made me think of, what does that say about men? What does that really say about us? When we should be the ones protecting, caring for. Our job is to protect and provide the provision that God has already provided for us. But 89%, So what do that say about the men? This is why LGBTQ is so high.
But how long ago was that?
At least 8 years.
Right. Do you know that those statistics right now are probably just as high for men now?
Oh, I can believe that. Well, men, because it's starting to truly come out, is almost probably the same.
Well, that's what I just said.
And this is why I still believe, because there's an old interview of a guy. I remember when this interview came out, and he was talking about how he molests little boys and how he would spot them, find them.
Old white guy.
Old white guy.
Yeah, I saw it.
How he pinpoint, oh, you don't have, your mama need help, you ain't got a daddy, you might not tell, and depending on how you act, can I use you to bring in your friends so I can molest them too? And he said something that was very crucial. He said, I make them believe that this is something that they should do. Which means that he has groomed and sexually groomed them
before actually touching them
into the gay lifestyle, before he actually touched them.
It's a mental thing before he actually got to it physically.
Now, I never forget, as a kid, I used to ride the bus home from school. And this guy used to get on the bus every day. He would talk to me, ask me how am I doing, because he saw me by myself. And, you know, he was asking, then the questions started to get weird. Oh, so you play sports? Yeah. Oh, so you work out? Where do you work out at? I can come work out with you. Da 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 da. So one day, my dad comes and get me. And he's like, you all right? I said, yeah, I'm thinking about the questions this guy keep asking me on the bus. He said, what guy? What questions is he asking? I said, this, and this is. He said, when you see him next time, tell him your dad said, I'll kill him dead. And because I'm the police, I'll get away with it. So I saw the dude probably like 3 days later. And then he used to always want to sit close to me. And he was like, so, hey, I said I was talking to my dad. And when I said I was talking to my dad, his whole demeanor changed.
Yep. Because he didn't think you had a father in your life.
He was like, oh, I said, and I told my dad about you said you wanted to work out. And he's like, oh, so what did he say? He said he will kill you dead. And because he is the police, he'll get away with it. That man got up. I haven't seen that man since that day.
Yep.
So it's not just a white thing. It's not just they bringing them in from South America. They want them everywhere. Black, white, they don't care. Young, girls, boys.
Me and Dewan was talking about this, was it last night, night before? And he was like, Mom, did you hear about that bus they did in Texas? You know, they rescued 109 children, and I think they rescued 113, and they busted 109 predators. And he was like, nobody's talking about it. Nobody, like, why is nobody talking about this? Because a lot of the government people are in on it.
And it kills the narrative. Because now we're going to tie this to open borders. We're going to tie this to government ruling and red tape and regulation. And now everybody's on Front Street.
Cut.
So I remember Dateline used to do they used to call them and they used to pretend like they was on and have them come to the spot and they'll lock them up. Mm-hmm. Right live on television. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. I remember those days too. Now we dating ourselves. But for real.
So this has been going on for a long time. So even though he was talking about men being able to be on Survivor and Spot and come together, it's really when he started talking about hierarchy.
Go back, play it again. Play it again. Play it again. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, okay.
No, I was gonna start it.
Is it gonna act right?
Of course it's
Okay.
gonna act right. You got that.
I need you
Suicide
to
is
get
only
that. I'm gonna
dangerous
buy you
because
a
of
new
men,
mic.
which is true.
Yeah.
Statistically, violence, men.
But that isn't true. Let's get to the root cause of things. Manipulation happens when you focus on the effects and you don't go to the cause. So the root of it is that without a man and you were just here, you would have been eaten by a lion, a tiger, and bear. And guess what? If the lions and tigers and bears didn't get you, you wouldn't have the ability to gather enough calories for you to last. Because a woman can't manipulate the world how a man can. So let me explain to you how a world would operate with only women and only men. When men get together, we know, oh, he's stronger here, he has this skill here, he got this. Let the best person work this skill, and that creates a hierarchy from top down. When a woman get together, what you think about, you're all emotional. So you're tiptoeing all the time, and you're looking at the sensitivity levels in this woman and that woman because you know that you are sensitive. So what you do is you start looking at everything in an egalitarian sense to equalize everything. You get two, you get two, you get two, you get two. The men don't operate like that. Did you do enough to get two? If you ain't do enough, you're not getting two. You get zero. Put in that work and then you get that. This is why on the Survival series, men, they was cleaning water fast, building fires fast, because they created that hierarchy. They put the best person in position first. The women, they was trying to do everything equal and by committee, so they couldn't create any order and any structure. The world wouldn't be safer without men. Nature killed more people than any wars and anything you could never imagine. And men, we
It's crazy. He said that nature has killed more men than war.
It's the truth.
But to even think about that, the lions, tigers, and bears, it doesn't even apply to women. It applies to children. Just like the story I just said about my dad. Yo, tell him. Because I wouldn't have had enough calories to fight this dude off. But if Mr. Jackson would have found this guy before my dad became saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost,
That part.
he would have buried this guy. Because you're trying to groom my son,
Yep.
and now you're going to try to rape and molest my son.
Yep.
My guy, you'd have been in trouble. So the hierarchy from the top down, and not even just about the TV show Survivor, we need that to survive in the world. And if God is not the top that's pulling down, and if men are not in their proper place, hierarchy is
Over.
and this is no disrespect to women. I love women. I love my wife. I got 50 million daughters. Only got 2 sons. I pray for them because they got it bad. But I have a gang of sisters, so I understand. I've been around women. I've seen women move and operate. But most importantly for me, in my life, I've been around men. All the adult men in my life were all married. They was the hierarchy in their household. From my Uncle James, my Uncle Reggie, my Uncle Keith, my dad, my Uncle Luke, my Uncle David, all the men. There is not one man, even my Aunt Louise, her Uncle Gary. There was my Aunt Liz, God bless her soul, her ex-husband, we used to call him Snookum. all my life, my cousin Michael, all my life, I've always seen men at the top of the peak. Always. I've always seen women in the prayer room sustaining the man at the top of the peak. I'm just telling you what I saw as a kid. So when I come and I speak, I'm speaking from an experience of I saw men. I was brought up around men. All my coaches were married. Just about every, even the dope boys I knew, majority of them were married. So this was the thing that I saw at the peak. So when I speak, when I move, when I walk through life, I walk through life as that hierarchy. I have to be on top of my game. I have to be here because everything from here flows down. And if the top is messed up, because believe it or not, the top is the foundation that carries everything else. And if we as men are not willing to take our rightful place, we leave our women open for predators, for the lions, tigers, and bears. We leave our women in a place of vulnerability. We leave our kids open to predators, to be in a house, traffic, to be in a news story that no major news outlet is talking about. When we grew up, you was on a milk carton.
Now you're on a poster in Walmart.
Right. I was going to say, now you on a poster in Walmart that people rarely pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. Or Kroger's, yep.
That people do not pay attention to. They had it on milk cartons because they knew everybody bought milk. And then somebody thought that it was offensive. And this is how the lions and tigers and bears have succeeded, based upon feelings and emotions and offense.
That's that minority.
And it's that little bit, as my wife said, it's the little ones.
Little bit.
So, men, take your rightful place. But please understand, men, let me say this. Men, you are not at the top of the peak. You're in third place. Because the top of the peak is God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man. Then man is the head of woman. Do not be afraid to take your rightful place in submitting yourself under Christ. Women, don't be afraid to submit yourself under the man. I promise you, it will work better. Maybe we should call some investors and see if we can go build a city. So I'm calling out to those who want to leave out of Manhattan. I know some places in Georgia that need to be rebuilt.
Don't come if you don't have the right mentality.
We just told them what we're looking for.
Don't come if you don't have the right mentality.
Because my wife gonna run you up out of here. But we gonna keep your money though. So I had fun. Did you have fun?
I guess.
Wow. Look at you.
Jackson.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I guess that's it. We love y'all. I thank everybody for coming in. Please make sure that you hit that thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed. And when you hit the subscribe button, please hit the bell. Click on all so you can get all notifications for when we go live here and when we post videos. And you can get those notifications as well. So yeah. So
We'll see y'all next week.
Right here on the Pastor's Q and what's them black people name?